Hello, Western 201, Self and Place. I wanted to provide a mini lecture discussing something that we've only tangentially touched upon previously. In our readings earlier, we talked about how objects and things in our lives help us interpret and think about ourselves, but we didn't really give much thought to how those objects have their own place, right? Even beyond their location in our lives. What is their history? What was their location? Where did they come from? Who are the other selves that impacted them? All right, and we can think about this in a number of ways. I'm in my home office surrounded by a lot of different crap. As I'm sure you can see, there's a giant weird bird behind me back there that my dad made. Anyway, this can range from the super simple, a one item, right? This is a rock, but it's a rock that's been shaped into an arrowhead. So this is probably a few hundred years old. Where did it come from? Well, I got it in Tennessee in a field after it had been plowed by the farmer. So why was it there? It was either rejected or lost after being shot, or maybe it did hit its mark and whatever animal it hit died in that field and then it was lost, right? But the Native American that made it, the farmer that farmed that field, potential animal, and then me picking up and finding it. It's had quite the lifetime, right? The span, different elements, and now it's traveled to Ohio. Who knows where the rock was before it was sculpted, right? So you can see how even something so simple, one element, one item, has a complicated and rich history in terms of people it's touched and places it's been, right? If we step up slightly, I have a Western program water bottle, all right? A handful of ingredients, but man-made, manufactured from materials garnered from the earth, right? So different people had to process the raw material to create the plastic, and then somebody had to shape the plastic into the water bottle, and then someone had to make the decal to put on there, and then it was shipped, and we ordered it, and then there we go. Now it's in my life. To the uber complex, the cell phone, right? You all have smartphones. Have you given much thought to where the component parts come from, right? All of the raw materials that are being mined in Africa and Asia and sent elsewhere and, refined and made into the component parts necessary for the technology to work, right? That's one reason why Apple's taking a hit at the moment in stock market, because China's been closed and that's where they get a lot of their parts to be manufactured from. But who mined it? Who refined it, who made it into the component part, and then who assembled the iPhone, and then you ordered it, and then it's delivered. How many, potentially dozens, if not hundreds of people actually had a hand in creating that iPhone that is now part of your life and your identity, right? So all of these different places and people connected to all of our everyday little items that we rely on, and we don't really think about it. I mean, you think about your clothes, you think about your food, right? You think about your computers. Basically, everything you touch came from somewhere and someone had a hand in that. And those people have their own selves, their own places, their own identities, and they're all integrated in so many different ways. And because of globalization, here we are, are bringing it all together. Anyway, just an interesting thought. Maybe you should look around your room, see if you can trace the history of some of the items that you have. That's all I got. Happy spring. Have a safe spring break. Thanks.